Goddess. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today we're going to be reading a chapter from the book of You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Sincero. Now, if I do end up doing some messages, I'm just going to go ahead and do the disclaimer just in case. So please keep in mind that these are general messages, so they may or may not apply to you and your situation. That is okay. It is what a TI is. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, all the good things, because I'm very grateful for it. And it also helps other people to get, into my algorithm, because we all want to learn together. Sharing is caring. Share it. Please and thank you. Okay. Whew. Now, let me move a little bit of this stuff. Okay. All right. So, let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 8, what are you doing here? The big question is whether you are going to be able to say a hearty yes to your adventure. This is by Joseph Campbell, who is an American mythologist, also an author whose books and ideas are influenced from the making of Star Wars. Okay? So, let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. It says, getting clear about what your unique purpose is can be the difference between living a happy, fulfilled life of abundance. Hold on. Let me get a little drink, y'all. I ain't read on here in a long time. Okay. Let's start this thing over. Getting clear about what your unique purpose is can be the difference between living a happy, fulfilled life of abundance, choice, and expansiveness, or living in the living in the restrictive veil pen of your own indecisions and tired old excuses. I don't have my glasses, y'all, so I'm trying to make it work. A gift, of course, is meant to be given, which is why it's so brutal when we can't figure out what ours is, or when we know what it is, but we're too lame to act on it. Here we have the perfect gift to share with the world, just bursting to be opened, and we keep it sitting there, wrapped tightly in a box, growing old and gathering dust. Oh, the waste and the agony. Meanwhile, the joy of giving someone the perfect gift is unparalleled. We all know how it feels, hopping back and forth from foot to foot, wringing our hands, practically peeing in our pants, begging them to open it. Open it already. Jesus Christ. Here, let me freaking do it. The power of giving is so strong that the excitement and the good feelings are often greater for the giver than for the receiver. Which is why when you find your calling and you design your life in such a way that you can share your gifts with the world on a consistent basis, you feel like a rock star. There's a little excerpt here that says, when we share what we were brought here to give, we are in alignment with our highest, most powerful selves. Most people, however, wander through their lives giving the tasteful candle version of their gifts. You know, they don't show up to the party empty-handed or anything. They present their somewhat flaccid gift to the world, receive a warm hug, and oh, you shouldn't have in return, but they don't knock it out of the park. For example, they get a job doing something that they either hate or that's a bit of a yawn, boring. And it's okay at the least. It affords them a life that covers the basics as long as they don't go too crazy. They do fun stuff, but not as much as they'd like because they don't have the money or the time or the belief that they deserve it. They have little victories here and there, and they meet their sales quota and win the 6-day cruise to the Bahamas, or rack up enough miles to go stay with their aunt and see the Olympics, or finally sit down and write an entire song that they may or may not have, recorded, or they're ready to perform, but they never truly go for it and create a life that really lights them up. They basically big snooze their lives away. Every single person is born with unique and valuable gifts to share with the world. Once we figure out what ours are and decide to live our lives putting them to use, that's when, and only when, the real party begins. Living a life on purpose is available to everyone. So if you're struggling or settling or completely confused about what you're supposed to do with your life, know that the answer is already here. It exists, and so does the life that you can't wait to create. You just need some clarity first. There are entire books written on finding your calling, some of the best of which I have shared in the resources section, and I'll go there in a minute. Let me write that down for those who want to know more about their purpose. Okay. It says, but the following are a few of my favorite tips. Keep in mind that there is no right way to go about this. Everyone's journey is unique, but we're all trying to get to the same place. The place where we feel happiest, the most alive, and the most like ourselves. Even if you've nailed the perfect career for yourself, read on, because these tips can help you in all areas of your life. So pause, let me get a little sippy sip. Okay, how to get clear on who you are and what your calling is. Number 1, be the alien. Imagine that you're an alien floating around in outer space and you suddenly swoop down to Earth and inhabit your own body. As the alien, everything about this life is new to you. You look around and what do you see? What is this person who you've inhibited so obviously awesome at? What do they have the most fun doing? What connections do they have? What resources and opportunities are available to them? As the alien to whom everything is new and exciting and there's nothing to risk or no past to lug around, what are you going to do with this incredible new life that you've stepped into? How are you going to use this new body and this existence to create something fabulous and awesome starting right now? This exercise is hugely helpful for those getting a new perspective and stepping outside of our boring ass ruts of tired old excuses and lame habits. It can also be very useful in making you aware of all the staggering possibilities and resources that you have at your fingertips and that you take for granted or do not see. Sometimes it's as simple as looking at things with new eyes just to see how astoundingly fortunate we are. Be the alien for 24 hours and see what you come up with. Number 2, take the first step. Instead of wasting hours and days and years trying to figure out your perfect next move, just do something already. All the time we waste rolling around ideas in our head, imagining the what ifs, coming up with coming up with perfect reasons why, and then perfect reasons why not, tearing at our cuticles, making our friends and family carefully screen their calls in case it's us again, wanting to go over some ideas. Get out of your head and take action. You don't have to know exactly where it's going to take you. You just need to start with the one thing that feels right and keep following right feeling things and see where they lead. It says that most answers reveal themselves through doing, not thinking. When I discovered my calling as a coach, I was ironically in the midst of a lifelong obsession with figuring out what the hell my purpose was. While I always knew writing was a part of it, I also knew I wasn't meant to spend the rest of my life locked away in a silent room and half crazed, wrestling words into submission. I wanted something that A, involved interacting with other people, B, helping other people in some sort of direct way, C, that was really fun. And D, it forced me to bathe, dress, and leave my house. That's all I had to go on. And that my intense desire to figure it out. So when my friend told me that I should, hold on, wait. That's about all I had to go on. That and my intense desire to figure it out. So when my friend told me I should check out a women's entrepreneurial think tank group that had just started up, I figured I should go. We were all supposed to bring a project to work on, but I had nothing, just the hope that I'd get some ideas from something someone else brought to the table. After sitting there for 4 weeks, watching this room full of women figure out what they love to do and turn their brilliant ideas into businesses or grow the businesses they already had, I still had no project of my own. But I did know what I wanted to do. I went up and asked the facilitator if she needed any help, which she did. She hired me, and I started leading these groups, which after a few years led me to starting my own coaching practice, which also led me to working with clients all over the world, which led to me sitting in the kitchen counter writing this book right now. No matter how clueless you may feel right now, pay attention to the suggestions and opportunities that suddenly present themselves. And notice how you feel. Is there something for you for whatever reason that feels like it might be good to check out? What have you been saying forever that you'd love to do? Has anyone mentioned a course or a teacher or a book that keeps sticking in your mind? Take the first step in the direction towards something that feels right and see where it leads you and do it now. Now we're on number 3. It's about 7 tips. Yeah, about 7, 8 tips. Do your best wherever you're at. Once you take this first step, it's possible that you won't land in your dream situation right away. You might land on a stepping stone. It could be an awesome stepping stone, or it could be kind of an unpleasant stepping stone. But no matter where your first step lands, if you want to keep moving forward, appreciate where you are, where you're at, instead of feeling ashamed or grouchy or impatient about it. Everything you do along your journey contributes to where you're going. Let's say you've decided that you're going to go after a fantasy of being a rock star, and you take a job waiting tables so that you can have the flexibility to travel and play gigs and go in the studio. Clearly, your calling is playing music. Not being concerned with some whiny customer's French onion soup is allegedly too cold. But it's essential that you care anyway. Having a good attitude of being grateful for all of the things that are helping you live the life of your dreams will not only make your life a more pleasant place to be, and give you bigger tips, but it will also raise your frequency and attract the people and opportunities to you that will take you into the direction that you do want to go. This is where being present in the moment comes in handy. Granted, you may not be on stage in front of thousands of people doing a split in the air, but remember that you are going for it. And you are bravely moving towards your dream, and you are surrounded by unthinkable memories, miracles, and opportunities. Lean back, relax, and be grateful that you're living on purpose, that you're hanging out in a high frequency, and that everything is zooming towards you. Okay, everything that you need is zooming towards you. Number 4. Now, do not reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look around and see what other people are doing. Whose life makes you totally jealous? What things are people doing that you would love to do too? Who do you think is the coolest person ever? You don't need to invent your ideal life from scratch. You just need to figure out what makes you feel alive. So if what someone else is doing sparks your interest, take notice. It could mean that your calling has something in common with theirs. Get specific about the things in your lives that turn you on. Is it because that you get to travel the world? Is it that You have a solid routine. Hold on, wait. Get specific about the things in their lives that turn you on. Is it because they get to travel the world? Is it that they have a solid routine? Is it that they have no routine? Is it that they work alone? That they work in the nude? That they get to be outside all day? Hi, hey everybody. Is it that they get to work with their hands? The more specific that you get, the easier it will be to create the picture of what it is that you want. Read magazines that interest you. Talk to as many people as you can. Hang out in places where people who share your interests hang out. Put yourself out there, and you never know what you might learn that will inform you for your next move, or whom you might meet that will present you with your next opportunity. Number 5, don't get caught up in the thunderbolt hype. I think it is one of the most paralyzing misconceptions is that we're all supposed to have one true calling that comes to us in a mighty flash of a soul-defining insight. While there are people who's always known exactly what they've wanted to do, there are a hell of a lot more of us who spend our whole lives, if not our entire lives, wandering around looking under rocks and behind trees for who we are. Let yourself off the hook if you don't have that one big perfect thing that you came here to do. Same goes for finding the one big, perfect soulmate as well. And feel good about the fact that you'll probably fulfill several callings throughout your life and possibly relationships as well. If you think about it, it makes more sense to evolve as you age anyway. When I think about who I was in my 20s compared to who I am now, I can't imagine anything more unappealing than going after some of the things that resonated with me back then. Follow what feels good in the moment, every moment, and it will lead you through a most successful, excellent life. Number 6, we're almost done. Listen to your intuition. If you really want to get in touch with who you are and what you love to do and who you love to do it with, dedicate some time into tuning into your intuition. One of the best ways to do this is to spend 5 minutes of quiet by yourself every day. We spend the vast majority of our time moving at full speed ahead, both physically and mentally, and we literally bulldoze over the very answers that we're seeking because they can't be heard above the din. When you sit quietly and ask, you get an answer. Eventually. Stick with it, be patient, and wait to hear from your inner guidance. You have all of the answers you need. You just need to give them a chance to get through to you. Number 7. Follow your fantasies. This is second from the last, so we're almost done. Follow your fantasies. Now that I've given you all the kinder, gentler ways to figure yourself out, I'm going to suggest something you're probably not going to like so much. Jump in the deep end and follow your fantasies. What do you fantasize about when you're staring out the window of a train, or before you go to sleep at night? Or when you're pretending to listen to someone really boring talk your ear off? Are you on stage doing stand-up comedy in front of thousands of hysterical fans? Are you surrounded by your beautiful children in the coziest, happiest home ever? Are you being celebrated for building orphanages around the world? Do this exercise as if money were not an issue. Tap into what brings you great joy instead of thinking of what you need to do to survive. If you had an unlimited supply of cash, what would you spend your life doing? That's a great question, y'all. Our fantasies are the most revealing peepholes into who we are and what we think is awesome. No matter how out there and ridiculous they may seem, they mean something to us and usually represent our biggest and best versions of ourselves. It says, our fantasies are our realities in an excuse-free world. Let me write that down. Hold on, y'all. We almost done. And I'm going to read those that section off for y'all so y'all can look up those books if you'd like to know more about your personal purpose. So give me 1 second. Okay. Meanwhile, we'd all be mortified if anyone could read our minds and catch us in the act. I know it. Oh, I can't even say it right. I know it's totally stupid, but I want to sing in Broadway. Well, is it really stupid? Someone's out there doing it, so why couldn't you? Much of the time we pretend we aren't clear on what our calling is, when what's really going on is that we're horrified to face it because it seems too big or too impossible to make a living at or completely out of the question for us. But if you had the audacity to leave your excuses and your shame about wanting to be huge and fabulous behind and really went for it full on anyway, what if you decided to do the most outrageous, most exciting thing that you ever dared to fantasize about, regardless of what anyone, including the terrified self of you, thought? That would be living. And number 8, lastly but not least, love yourself. Like you're the only one that there is. Wow. Woo. In our next chapter, we're going to talk about, not today, but in the next chapter, we're going to talk about, is it better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not? So that's by Andre Gide or Guide or something like that. But y'all want to tap into this book. It's a beautiful one. It's You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Sincero. Let me go to the back of this book really quickly so y'all can get these books real quick. Also, I have a audiobook list for those of you who want to expand your knowledge as well. I believe I put this book in there actually. So if you want to listen to it yourself, you can, but I figured that this one chapter needed to be talked about, so that's what we're talking about. Okay, let's see. Where's the books at? Where is the book? Let's see. Okay, so the books are Ask and It Is Given, Learning to Manifest Your Desires by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Okay, the other books are The 4 Agreements, A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom by Don Miguel Ruiz. Also, The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. Also, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. Also, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Thank you, Kiara. How are you? Thank you so much. Also, another book is The Creative Habit, Learn it and Use It for Life by Twyla Tharp. Losing My Virginity, How I Survived, Had Fun, and Made a Fortune Doing Business My Way by Richard Branson. We also have Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. We've got Finding Your Own North Star, Claiming the Life You Were Meant to Live by Martha Beck. We've got Practical Intuition by Laura Day. We've got The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, A Practical Guide to the Fulfillment of Your Dreams by Deepak Chopra. We also got You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. We got Creating Money, Keys to Abundance by Sanaya Roman and Duane Packer. We also got The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Okay. And what else we got? Getting to I Do, The Secret of Doing Relationships Right by Dr. Patricia Allen. Loving What Is, 4 Questions That Can Change Your Life by Byron Katie. And last but not least, we have The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire by David Gita. So hopefully this helped y'all. Check out this book. You can go to my audiobook section, and it definitely should be in there. I think I put it in there twice probably. But if y'all, wanted to listen to that on your own accord, you wanted to listen to that as an audiobook while you're working, reading, or whatever, you can. It is in my audiobooks playlist on this channel. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Okay. Yeah, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, all the good things. I know I was a little tongue twisted, but it's because it's hard for me to see without my glasses. I don't have my glasses right now, so next time it'll be much, much better. But I felt like this was very profound right now with the energies that we are going through. There's a lot of people who are about to be in a lot of high places, especially because you've been low. You've been low. You've been in a lot of low places. But it's okay, because now it's time for you to live and not survive. So hopefully you took something from this. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm about to be kind of doing some arts and crafts and channeling or whatever. And y'all can come and hang out with me if you'd like. I love that. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next video.